Aloha fam, Mr. Micah Bang here at Select Shots. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down one of the first products I invested in when I started my videographer journey. It's something that I believe all videographers should consider owning, especially if they want to up their production quality and up their production workflow. This product has helped me over the past few years in capturing and pulling some super smooth buttery footage, and it's one of these. It's the Weebill S from Zhiyun, or Zhiyun? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's the Weebill S. And I know it's a bit outdated, but I'm telling you that in 2023 it is well worth the money. So if you are a beginner, someone who is shopping for their first gimbal, let's head on over to the B-roll studio. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to balance a camera on the Weebill S. Let's go. Oh, and if you're not a beginner and you know how to balance the gimbal already, just skip to this timestamp and we'll continue the goods. But let's go. Alrighty fam, so here we are in the unboxing studio slash B-roll studio. And I got here the Zhiyun Weebill S, and I'm going to show you real quick how to balance your camera on the gimbal. So first things first, what we want to do is attach or install the batteries that come with it, and that is going to go here underneath the base plate like that. So we got your two batteries that look like this. They're going to go slide in there like that, and it's going to go positive towards you and negative towards the body of the grip. Attach that, secure those. We got power to our gimbal. Next thing you want to do is take the base plate that comes with the gimbal, and this is the quick release base plate. It allows you to quickly take your camera on and off of the gimbal by just a click of a button. So just like that, you'll be able to take your camera on and off the gimbal very quickly. And it is secured with this screw, so once this is fastened all the way, you will not be able to release your camera, and it'll be securely fastened onto the gimbal. So I like to install this plate to the camera just by itself, because I find it a lot easier to get a better fasten. So let's do that. The positioning of this plate is going to vary from camera to camera, but on this A6600, I like to just pair it with my Sigma 30mm prime lens. I just like to butt this plate up to the bottom, to the edge of the camera body, just enough. You can overhang just a little bit, but I like to make sure there's enough room so that way my screen can still, be flipped out. So make sure that is secured, and when I say secure, you do not want this plate moving side to side like that. You want that thing nice and secured, so I'm just going to tighten that a little bit more. I'm just using a penny. You can use like a nickel or a quarter too, whatever you got lying around, but make sure that's not moving side to side. And once that's secured, you can go ahead and reattach the second half of that base plate, and make sure you hit that release button. And once that's on there, make sure you fasten that down. So that's fastened, and you can no longer hit that release. So let's move on to installing this on the gimbal. And for balancing, you're going to want to install this tripod handle on the bottom here. Just like that. And we're going to be balancing two different axes today. It's going to be this axis here and this axis there. And we have three locks that need to be unlocked in order for your gimbal to work properly, right? So we got 1, 2, and 3 locks. So let's move on to balancing the first axis here. What we're going to do is unlock this axis by unclicking that, and that should allow this axis to freely hang like that. You're going to go ahead and pull that up and lock it, relock it, so that way it's locked in place. And you're gonna go ahead and unlock this axis now. Hit the unlock, and that's gonna hang low like that. Go ahead and relock that. The next thing I like to do is, this is where the base plate is going to slide on, and this will move back and forth like this, or side to side like this. And what I like to do is just lock that in place with this latch as far away from this axis as possible, just that way I have enough clearance with my camera. So we're just going to go ahead and put a light lock on that so that it's not moving anymore. And once that's locked into place, you can go ahead and slide your camera on. So we're going to slide this here, and this is similar to a lot of tripod systems where it's got like this release, lock and release mechanism. And so you're going to go ahead and push that in to slide the base plate on. And once that's locked into place, your camera is not going to go anywhere unless you hit that release button. So nice little feature there. So once that's on there, let's go ahead and balance this thing for you. So we're going to unlock it now, and it's either, oh, well, I got it pretty balanced right there on the spot, but let's just say it wasn't. It's going to lean forward or back like that. And what you're going to want to do is just move that until it's not tilting back or forward. Just like that. It's good. And lock that up. Do it again from this angle. And push that. Like that's good. And make sure that's secured with this latch here. Just be very careful with these latches. I've heard that once they break off, it's very hard to get those replaced. So be very delicate when unfastening those latches to rebalance or change the camera, you know. So once that's finally balanced, you can lock that up and move on to the next axis, which is this one here. So we're going to go ahead and unlock that, and it's going to just go ahead and tilt that way or this way, depending. And what I like to do is just the same thing. Move it until it's not leaning left or right. And once that's good, lock that up. Cool. So, and once those two axes are balanced up, you're good to go. And yeah, like I said before, make sure that all three axes are unlocked before you turn it on. If not, you'll hear this sound here. So let's turn it on. Oh, hold on. Lock these up just so that way you know what it sounds like when your axes are locked up. Yep. So if you hear that sound, you're one or both of your axes, one or all three of your axes are going to be locked. So make sure all of them are switched to the unlock position before you turn it on. And to check that, you can just kind of free range your camera like that. And yeah, once you are good, turn this on, the motors will start to activate, and when you pick up your gimbal, your camera should sit very nicely and balanced, just like that. And after you've balanced your camera up, go ahead and filter through the menu here to the calibrate function. Calibrate that all up and you should be good to go. And there you go. Now you are ready to get some buttery smooth footage. Alrighty fam, so our basic tutorial on how to balance our camera on the Weebill S is complete, and now I think it's only fair for me to share some of the quirks that I've had or problems that I've had using this gimbal. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great gimbal, and in 2023, for the money, I think it's a great investment, but it still has its issues. Number one, the weight load capacity. So the weight load capacity is listed as 1,342 grams. And up until recently, I've had no issues whatsoever. I used to shoot on a Sony a6600 with a 30 millimeter, 16 millimeter. The largest lens I've used was a 90 millimeter macro lens. No issues with any of that, right? Only until recently, I moved over to a full frame system. I'm now shooting with a Sony a7 IV paired with a Sigma 28 to 70 millimeter zoom lens. Now, you are going to have some issues balancing a zoom lens. The center of gravity of that of your weight load is going to change as the barrel extends on your zoom lens. So keep that in mind. But there is a sweet spot where you can get the gimbal to balance it properly, and I've done that. It's worked many times, but there's a handful of times where I get an axis lock message on my LCD. Now, the total weight of the Sigma lens and the a7 IV only totals 1,129. So it's a pretty significant difference between that and the weight load and the max weight load for the gimbal. So just keep in mind, it's a small issue, but maybe it won't be for you. But keep that in mind. You may experience some problems when your weight load gets to about 1,129 grams. So no biggie, but just keep that in mind. Second problem. When I first picked this Weebill up, got it set up, I was in the mindset that, hey, this gimbal is compatible with the Sony a6600, and that's what it states in their manual. And when I took their original USB connection cable and hooked it up from my gimbal to the camera, changed the proper settings to make it compatible, it didn't work. Just outright didn't work. Spent hours searching through forums, joined a Facebook community on the Weebill S to see if they had any solutions, scoured YouTube, and found one video. And this guy was saying that if you just do everything the same way, connect your camera the same way, but change the setting not to Sony, but use Canon or Nikon as your camera setting for the on the Weebill S, everything should work. And lo and behold, it did. I can't find the exact video, but if I do, I'll make sure to update it in the description below. But that issue was troubleshooted until I lost the cable. Now, keep in mind, this connectivity allows you to access different features on your camera, like adjusting the aperture, shutter speed, and even doing like a tap autofocus all through the gimbal. And that can be really handy, and it was handy for many months until I lost the cable, which brings me to my second or 2.5 problems. Third problem, I guess, whatever. It's connected to the second problem. Don't lose the cable, because the original cable I found worked the best, and it did work after I troubleshooted the original problem. But when I lost the cable and tried to order replacement, the first cable that I ordered through the manufacturer did not work. Not even the easiest function, which is the record function, the record button, did not work at all. So I sent that back, and I found a replacement cable on Amazon. Ordered that cable, did not work at all. Maybe I ordered the wrong cable. So I went back through Amazon, I found this cable, and when I installed that cable to my gimbal, only the record button works now. And for me, that's enough. So I'm not, making a big stink about it, but you just got to know that you might run into some connectivity issues with the cable and your camera. Now, the record button works on the A6600 and the A7 IV, so that's a plus. But all those connectivity options that I had before are basically gone. So try not to lose the original cable. Keep that in mind. Take good care of it if you are looking to invest in the Weebill S. Those are basically the only quarrels that I have with this product. Other than that, this thing is excellent. It's going to take your productivity and your production quality up a whole ton. So I hope you found this video helpful. And if you consider purchasing the Weebill S after everything that you know now, there are links in the description below. But yeah, I'm going to call it. My voice is getting all hash and I'm losing it. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. Until the next time, shoots.